Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you. From Yahuwah. He's our Father. And Yahusha. He is the Mashayah, the one that carries the burden of Yah. His voice, our high priest, soon coming king. Hear, O Yeshua, Yahuwah, who is our mighty one. He is one. There is no other mighty one, brothers and sisters, than Yahuwah. And Yahusha is his voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again to ask you another question. What are the two seventh-day counts of the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Before I begin, let me congratulate you. If you started this journey with us, you have returned to Yah. You have returned to his new moons, his Shabbats, his feast days. You have returned to the old way, which is the good way, that you may find rest for your soul. For thousands of years, this has not been carried out so efficiently as we have done. Bravo to you. The Father is looking down upon his people today, and he's smiling down upon us. Listen to what he is saying. He's sending his emissary to come and get us, those who love him, those who keep his commandments. Now you may be asking yourself, what do you mean by there's two seventh-day counts of the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Well, I'll show you. If you cannot achieve these two seventh-day counts in this time of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you don't have it right. The Father put this passage in the book, hidden in plain sight, for you and I to rediscover, so that we will know that we're on Yah's time. Debarayam, chapter 16, verses 6 to 8. Verse 6. But at the place which Yahuwah your Eluah shall choose to place his name in, what's going to happen? There is where you will sacrifice the Passover, in the evening. In case we didn't understand what he was saying, in the evening, at the going down of the sun. When do you spot the renewed moon? In the evening. At the going down of the sun, which begins the lunar day. How does a lunar day work? From the time you spot the new moon in the evening until the next evening. Let's continue. At the season, not season, the word is muadyam, at the appointed time that you came forth out of Egypt. Verse 7. And you shall roast and eat it in the place which Yahuwah your Eluah, your mighty one, shall choose. This is the 14th day in the evening when the Passover is to be sacrificed. And you shall turn in the morning and go unto your tents. All right. So you're in the 15th day. The sun has rose. He told them to go to their tents. Stay there. What happened before? In the 14th day, they were running all around, preparing for the feast. When it came to the evening, all of the leaven was already cleansed out of the house. Then the Passover, the Passover lamb, was sacrificed. You were to roast it and eat it on the fire. You cannot do this in the land of your captivity. You can only do it in the place where Yah has put his name. That's in the promised land. So you roasted your lamb on the fire, and you had a big party all night. You ate, you drank, you were merry, you were celebrating. You danced, you sung beautiful songs unto he who is seated upon the throne. And before the sunrise, you were supposed to take the residue of the lamb, burn it on the fire. After you burnt it on the fire and cleaned up all your mess, when the sun rose, you were to turn in the morning and go to your tents. What do you think they did when they went to their tents? They went to sleep. They were out all day on the 14th day, and they were all out all night in the 14th in the evening, going into the 15th day, celebrating, partying, eating, drinking, and were merry. Verse 8, 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread. Brother Dawood, I thought it was 7 days that you are to eat unleavened bread. That is correct. But the first day is in verse 7. You roasted the lamb. You ate it before Yahuwah. You celebrated. You burned the residue on the fire before the sun rose. When the sun rose, you went unto your tents. How many days are left for the feast of unleavened bread? 6. The 6 days fall on the 6 working days. Did you know that? The 14th day in the evening, which is the 15th day, is a high holy day. It's our regular weekly Sabbath. And on top of our regular weekly Sabbath is another Sabbath, Passover, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's why it is called the High Holy Day. If you cannot achieve that, you do not have the right day. Then in verse 8, after that day is done, the 14th day in the evening, which is the 15th day, begins your 6 working days. 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread. And on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahuwah, your Eluah, your mighty one. You shall do no work therein. You come right back to your regular weekly Sabbath. If you cannot achieve this count, you're not following Yah. and you're not keeping his Feast of Unleavened Bread. Brother Kuya's calendar. Thank you, Brother Kuya. Without this calendar, it would be close to impossible for me to explain this to the people. They need a visual aid. Well, here it is. Identify, for me, day number 5 in yellow. Next to day number 5 in yellow, which is Pope Gregory's calendar, look to your left. You'll see it's February the 5th. Next to it is a 14. In the sky, it would be the 14th day. Brother Kuya has overlaid the lunar calendar on top of Pope Gregory's calendar so that you can find Yah's days in this matrix in which we're living in. Okay, so we have the 14th day, which is in the sky. What happened on this day? On this day, we were preparing for the feast. I know you all remember that. We were shopping. We were running around, cleaning, making sure everything was in order. Yeah. We were cleaning out the leaven. By the time the evening came, there was no more leaven found in our houses. Right. So the 14th, which was in the evening, how does a lunar day work? It works from evening to evening. When do you spot the renewed moon? As the sun goes down. When it dips below the horizon, we spotted the renewed moon, which makes your count on the lunar calendar evening to evening. Solar calendar, sunrise to sunrise. We're not following a solar calendar. We're following a lunar calendar. All right. So in the evening, no servile work can be done. From evening to evening, what did we do? Well, we prepared for our Feast of Unleavened Bread. Could we sacrifice a lamb or anything here? No, we cannot. We're in the land of our captivity. No sacrifices can be done. It can only be done in the place where Yah has put his name. So Yah has provided for us a Mashayah, a high priest that is in the heavens, making continual intercession on our behalf before the throne. So there's no need for you to sacrifice a lamb. All you have to do is carry out the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So the Feast of Unleavened Bread began on the 15th day. When does the 15th day begin again? On the 14th in the evening to the 15th in the evening. That would be the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We just read about that. What did our ancestors do? Well, they sacrificed the lamb. They roasted it on the fire in the evening. They ate. They drank. They danced. They sung songs. They were merry before Yahuwah. Then, before the sun rose, they were commanded to burn all the residue on the fire. Yeah. And when the morning came, they were commanded to go into their tents. What do you think they did? They were out all day on the 14th. They were out all night in the 15th day. They went to sleep. 12 hours later came the evening. The next day began. Remember, we're on lunar time, not solar time. The next day began in the evening. Look at the next day. Says number 7. Next to it says 16. But look on the bottom. It says 1. What does that mean? That is the count to lead you to your 6 working days. Remember, verse 8? 6 days you are to eat unleavened bread. The first day was the 15th. Day 1. Now you have 6 more days left. Let's do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you see number 12? Number 12 would be on Pope Gregory's calendar. That's today. Listen to me. It's the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. In the sky, it would be the 21st day. Yes. But 7 days have passed since the 15th to this day, and on this day, no servile work can be done. You cannot go to work on this day. But you can bake. You can boil. You can kindle a fire. Everything you need to do to prepare your feast. But on this day, you have to make double the feast. Why, Brother Dawood? You have to store some up for the next day. Because you're going to come directly into your regular weekly Shabbat in the evening. Do you see that? So you have your first count for the 7 days of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. When does that begin, by the way? You know, the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Look where it says 11 and 20 in circle. See 20 on the 20th in the evening, or on Pope Gregory's calendar, on the 11th in the evening, is when you begin your celebration, and no servile work can be done, which will bring you into the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Then in the evening of the 7th day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you come right back to your regular weekly Sabbath, which is the 7th day of the week. Our Father hid this in plain sight so that you can return, so that you can check your numbers. It's impossible for Yah's days to be on Pope Gregory's calendar. The Shabbats and the feast days are all dictated by the moon. So you see your 2 7-day counts right next to each other? If you cannot achieve these 2 7-day counts, you got the wrong day. If your Passover, your Feast of Unleavened Bread, did not begin on February 5th in the evening, you definitely have the wrong day. If someone tells you that Passover is going to be in April, on March, they've added time to the calendar, which takes them outside of Yah's time. It takes you into the time of the Gentiles. Why do you think there's so few of us are going to make it back? Because they're holding to the feast days of the Gentiles. To return, this is what you must do. You have to keep Yah's Shabbats and Yah's feast days. And all of his days are dictated by the moon. Okay, brothers and sisters, don't mess this up. You've come this far. Do not go to work. Well, the 12th is on Sunday, so maybe you're off on that day. But it's going to lead you into Monday, the 22nd, which you are to have your third Shabbat of the month. Make sure that you take that day off so you can complete this feast. And look what happens directly after the third Shabbat. That's when, if you were in the land, you were to bring a sheep to the priest, and he was supposed to wave it on your behalf, and then you begin your count. 7 Shabbats must be complete, plus 1 day, and you will come to the Feast of Weeks. And that can only be counted on the lunar calendar. Enjoy your feasts, brothers and sisters. Shalom.